All right. Welcome to the third and final game of the evening. Up this time is Obakeidoro. Who wants to play cops and robbers? A thrilling, heart pounding struggle. Humans have 3 minutes to work together to get away from the monster. Playing as the monster, you have to utilize your skills to catch the human. Play Bogey Run, online or offline with up to 4 players. Winner of Bit Summit's Seven Spirits Popular Selection Award. Bogey Run is an asymmetrical action game in which 3 humans face off against one monster. Gameplay can be as deep or as casual as you want to make it. As a human, don't simply run away. Use your lantern attack to fend off the monster. If you time it just right, you will be able to turn the tides in your favor. As the monster, utilize your powerful skills is the key to your victory. Use skills like glide and track to capture the humans. Can you escape the monster? Can you hunt down the humans? Bogey Run. In a game of cat and mouse that the whole family will enjoy. You know what this is? To me at least,
What?
Pac-Man versus.
A little bit, aside from its like 3D. But I get the idea. Yeah. Um, it. Mr. Sargent says it has an interesting looking charm, which I kind of. It's very. I can see why they wanted to, if they were trying to promote this around Halloween or around October. And the reason why it came out is apparently that there is a character DLC that's new or something.
Right.
Which I didn't get, so I can't really review that part. There was also an older DLC for when 40,000 copies were sold of the base game, I guess, but I think that's no longer available since and hasn't been since like early 2020, early 2020. So, and which is kind of a shame because that one looked neat and had several new monsters as part of their rewards card for it. Or stamp card rather. So yeah, the gameplay is always one monster versus 3 humans. You can play as either a monster or a human. Um, the humans can run around. They can hop a little. And you have a lantern, and as you play, you unlock, or as you play, you get coins that you use to unlock more lanterns that have different speeds, which is how long it takes the lantern's flash to go into effect, range, which is how big of an area, and stun, which is how long they stun a monster that gets caught in the flash. Which is good because otherwise the monsters have a lot of advantages. And also, you can only use your lantern once in between getting. So if the monsters, and the monsters, I think some of the lanterns have special skills, but I wasn't able to find any. Because you have to play this game a lot to unlock higher end stuff, which I will get to. But yeah, the humans have the lanterns to stop it, but mostly you just have to run around and try to avoid getting caught. And if the ghost catches one of the humans, also human is used lightly. The third human you can unlock is a friggin' stuffed bunny. You saying something, Adam?
No.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So yeah, the monsters are trying to catch the humans. If they catch them, they chuck them into the jail that's at the center of the map. And if all 3 humans get captured at once, the monster just wins. But the other humans can run up to the jail and hit switches on the sides of it, which vary between 2 and 3 depending on the difficulty of the area. And if you hit the switches, the jail will open and everybody can run out. And when you run out, you actually get a speed boost also. Another advantage that the humans have is that the humans can always see where the other humans are as yellow outlines, which can be useful. Honestly, I think this game would be better if you had some way of coordinating with your teammates with vocally or something, but you can still try and do that. But yes, the humans can jump. They can like duck and dim the lantern light because the monster player can see your lantern light if you're running around and not like behind something. And the human's jump is actually really small too, but you can use it to like get over small things. And you can flash the lantern at the monster. After you've flashed it, your lantern goes dim, but if you get broken out of jail, it gets relit. Another relevant thing. Also, if you try to, there's no other player on the monster side, but there are little NPC ghosts that are sort of floating around the area, and if a human stays still for too long, the little ghosts will appear or gather around them, and then the monster will get an arrow telling them which way to that human. So you can't just hide. You have to move when you think it's safe. I'm kind of torn on the balance of being able to use the lantern only once per being active, because it definitely is a limitation, and honestly, after a jailbreak, if the monster's nearby, someone is probably going to get caught from that. But on the other hand, since the humans win if any of them are free after 3 minutes, they do have a bit of an advantage there, because I mean, theoretically, the ghost can capture 2 people and then camp the jail in case the last person can't free them. But if you don't get the last person, you still lose. The monsters, all of the monsters except for the starting ghost, whose name is Patches, have some sort of special skill, like being able to see a person's outline through terrain after they hit you with a lantern, or apparently one of them can glide. Again, you need a lot of stuff to unlock this stuff. It's a bit similar to Team versus One, other Team versus One games. But yeah, the monsters have a lot of advantages. They can move through a lot of walls. Although some monsters have very bouncy animations, so if you're not... And you can grab people through walls if you're on the other side of a wall. Monsters can generally jump way higher, which lets you sometimes get up in terrain to oversee an area to look for lanterns, which can be helpful. But that's the only thing the monsters can do really, is jump and catch. There are basically like 5 different areas plus one in the DLC. You got your graveyard, you got your ghost town, you got your spooky swamp, you got your haunted ass library, and you got a spooky factory. And then there are the normal forms of those. There are evening forms of those, and there are midnight forms of those. And the higher difficulty ones add more awkward terrain, like the evening factory has oil spills on certain areas that slow you if you're walking. Like the basic layout is the same, but they have like added that. There's also a thing in some of them that has area restriction, where after a certain amount of time in the match, you'll get the monsters are plotting something, and then the monsters that the scheme succeeded boxes that then just seals off an area so that the humans can't go into it. So it gets harder generally mostly for the humans, but also there are some things that get harder for the monsters, like the rough terrain is non-discriminatory, I think, in harder matches. So that's basically the play. You can play versus the computer. If you're on the human side against the computer, I think the other human AI is somewhat biased towards trying to get you out of the jail. Because just waiting in jail is no fun. But they're not completely stupid. Oh, also, after a jailbreak, all the little ghosts go and clamp onto the skull locks, and the jail goes into lockdown for a while. which is there's a bar on the bottom of the screen that empties as that goes on. That's a very dangerous time because if people get chucked in jail while it's in lockdown, they can't be freed until after the lockdown ends. So when I win as a monster, that's actually usually how you do it. Is grabbing people right after they were freed from jail. The monsters' different stats are they have differences in range and in jump, and a lot of them have minor individual skills. There's also a stat called free flow that I'm not sure what is, but might relate to being able to turn quickly or start attacking quickly. Also, this video is showing a thing where you flash to stun a monster that's already stunned. This is probably easier to pull off if you're playing with more than one human. I did get to play with a friend a little bit. And that's one of the things. The only reason I note that is because that's one of the things you do for stamps on the stamp card, which is effectively achievements. So yeah, you have to play on the same stage multiple times to unlock harder versions of that stage. When you're playing single player or online PvP, you get coins as you're in single player you get coins as you're playing for good play, for such things as like the monster gets fine play points for grabbing a character through the terrain or without being seen, and the humans get fine plays for stunning the monster and successfully hiding for a long time. Which is you get a lot of coins in that when you're playing in single player, it seems like, which is good. In multiplayer, in split screen multiplayer, you do not get any coins. And in online multiplayer, I didn't manage to connect to anyone. It was just, it's random matchmaking unless you have friends with the game, which I don't. And it looks like there might be some mode that has more playable characters at once. Yeah, this Party Blitz thing is over, unfortunately. But some of the stuff from it is still in the game. So yeah, and then you use the coins you earn. So yeah, you can get that on. I don't know about local multiplayer with multiple switches. In split screen multiplayer, you get none. And in online multiplayer, you only get them at the end of the match. And I did not get many, but that may have been because I did not actually connect to anyone. So I don't know how that goes. It's kind of unfortunate because it means you can only really get coins in single player. It feels like, and you need a significant amount of coins, and also you only get rank experience, which you start at C-, and the ranks go up to S+. And when you rank up, you unlock new lanterns or monsters to be able to buy. You have separate rankings for human and monster. So you can use that to buy different lanterns, which have different balances of stats. Use coins to buy them after they're unlocked to be available by your level. You can buy, and monsters, you just literally buy new monsters who have different stats and skills. There are only like 5 or 6 different monster appearances in the default game. But then each one has at least one recolor, which presumably just has better stats. And one of the things on the stamp card is using the default monster or using the default lantern a lot. And then the final reward is like a golden version, I think, of that basic thing that presumably is somewhat better. So yeah, the stamp card, there are 5 stamp cards actually, but 2 of them I think are DLC only. but there's one for humans, one for monsters, and then one for general achievements. Like, well, there's one of the ones on the general achievements one only has 3, and there's like one for playing for a long time. There's one for getting pretty much all of the stickers on the human and monster cards or stamps. But yeah, the stamps, they unlock titles that you put next to your name for when you go online, and that doesn't do anything. But then several of them also either unlock a speed boost for you when you're playing that kind of character, or just a new type of monster or lantern that you just get for free from that. Which made me kind of want to do that, but you have to do a lot of stuff. You have to play the game a lot to unlock most of those things, and I just didn't really have that. Well, first off, I didn't get to play with a friend much, and when I was playing, I wasn't unlocking something mostly. Like, if this game had an active online multiplayer thing, or if you have other friends that have the game on their Switches in local, because I don't even recommend this game for split screen much, even though it has that option, because the temptation to screen look is very strong, since it's a hide and seek game, you know?
Right.
But yeah, if you have a friend you can play with, I might recommend it for that. But
This is another one of those games that probably would have been
playing
better
it
on the Wii U.
solo, it gets a little bit monotonous after a while, I feel like.
So this would be one of those games that would be better probably on the Wii U if that was still a thing.
Might have been, yeah.
I mean,
also what?
Well, yeah, it's built for multiplayer, so.
Mm-hmm. Also, the control is a little bit janky. Sometimes the delay from how long it takes a lantern to go seems a little inconsistent, and the grab box for the monsters seems a little bit inconsistent. It's not bad. It's just something I noticed. I definitely had some times where I swear I hit the thing early enough to get the monster, or where I swear I was right on top of the kid when I grabbed them and I missed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, also it's very unfortunate there's like apparently a DLC pack and at least one event that are no longer active, because that would make the game more interesting. Give you a reason to come back to play more. They may still do those and there is still a additional DLC pack that gives you, I think, a new monster and a new character. Oh, it's also really annoying because the stamp card for the DLC that you can't get anymore is still there. And some of the monsters that you could earn by doing that DLC's missions are still randomly selected as opponents sometimes.
So just to rub it in your face, basically.
Yeah, like the Goth Lily Vampire. And I think also there was... Oh, yeah, and the stamp card that... Oh, and the stage for that is still on the list of stages, but will just never be unlocked unless they react. So I am kind of hoping actually that they run the DLC again at some point, or just make it available, please, because I actually kind of like this game. The only other downside is, and the music is about what you'd expect. Fun, kind of spooky, bouncy music.
Right.
The only downside is the price. This is a $20 base game, which is probably a little bit high.
I believe there's
I
believe there's also a physical edition that runs for $50.
Well, if you really don't want it to disappear from your servers ever, I guess.
Yeah.
That and the DLC is $10, which I don't know if that's worth it for like one monster and one human.
It's $8.99. So
okay, it's $9. Okay. So I'm not sure that I might get it because I got the base game for free. But I don't know if I would pay $29 for the whole package. I'm rounding again. I don't know if it's $20 base or like $19 base or something, but it's close.
It's $19.99.
$19.99. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall, I know mild recommendation, especially if you have multiple friends you think would be interested in playing it, especially over Halloween. Gets a bit stronger if they ever decide to rerun the original DLC because that sounded like fun, or if they do more events.
Right.
Which I have not heard anything of, but they could, I guess. Overall, it's pretty charming, but just slightly janky, and without those things, there's not quite as much there as I would like, you know?
Yep.
But what's there is still fun. So that's about what do you guys have any questions?
No.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Then that's about all. There is like some background story to the game, but it's not really relevant to the gameplay. There's no like campaign. Just ghosts are kidnapping kids. And you might have noticed that in the this definitely was a Japanese thing, and the promotional material stuff was not expertly translated. It seems like at some point they were considering changing the title to Bogey Run, which I think is still like the dubbed name of the game that the ghosts are playing with the humans they kidnap. But yeah, it's Obakeidoro for the game, I guess.
Oh, Bogey Run sounds a bit British to me.
Yeah, it's not. I guess you could do like Spook Run or something, but that could possibly be taken. You know, bogey is a fairly non-offensive term, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, not a bad game. Maybe a little overpriced, and it would be better if they had not canceled the 40,000 copies sold DLC, and if they did events more often.
Yeah. Okay,
Mostly
then.
recommend if you have friends to play it with.
Sounds about right. All right, so that'll about do it for not just this review, but this session. Once again, apologies for the cancellation of Skydrift Infinity, but sometimes these things can't be helped. Anyway, the week ahead. So only a Wednesday show this week, thankfully, given the circumstances. And returning is our old friend John Pickett from Manga Gamer. Let's see. So this time we'll be talking about the Distance Memorajo.
Memorajo, I think. It's fucking Esperanto.
Right. We went through this last time.
Or no, wait, it is Memorajo or something. I forget. I don't remember how to Esperanto.
Fair enough. But yeah, I remember that from the last time we spoke about this. But last time we spoke about it in the future tense. Now we'll be talking about it because the game has been out for a few months, actually. Okay. We're also going to be talking about Namaki Dark Elf Sisters. Why do they do this to us?
Because it's most of their business model.
But no, okay. Its whole plot is basically getting revenge.
Yes, I know what its whole plot is. I've seen it promoted.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I know why they do this, but I'm like, still, why? Because we got to talk about Dark Elves getting fucking revenge rapes, apparently.
Revenge incest rapes.
Right, of course.
Also, it's not
and
like
the formerly oppressed entity is, I'm like, yeah, I know it's not the skeeviest thing we've covered from Manga Gamer, but it's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And we also got Uchikano. Uchikano? Yeah, I think that it's probably, not Spanish. Yeah. But that's apparently a lot more tame and vanilla. but that's the one that didn't get the Steam release. Make of that what you will. Like, and we should have a new episode of Last News Desk on the left. And hopefully by Wednesday, I will have my laptop back, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg to get it fixed. Like, or they have to replace they shouldn't have to replace the hard drive. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, but anyway, yeah. I certainly shouldn't need to get a new fucking laptop because, you know, if the part's broken, they can replace the fucking part. I have to reassure certain people that I'm like, no, I'm not gonna have to get a new laptop. You know, if something's broken, they can fix it. Like, anyway, so until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.